Welcome back, everyone. Jordana and Paul, and we are joined live from Lviv, Ukraine, by Joe Lindsley from Ukrainian Freedom News, LvivLab.com, where you can see his Telegraph channel, Lviv Lab, LVIVLAB.com, where you can see all of his reports. This is also on Facebook, streaming on Facebook CCO, streaming on Twitter CCO, and I am streaming it on my Instagram live at Jordana Verde, so you can get a look at Joe's face because we love seeing him. So Joe, welcome back.
Hey, thank you. And Jordana, great to see you, Paul, you as well. And I should note today, with the help of the Ukrainian IT Army, this is a group of more than 77,000 IT volunteers that have been working to disrupt Russian communications and banking systems. We have a new website, UkrainianFreedomNews.com. We can access all of our channels, but thanks to the IT Army folks. And we just emerged from the second air raid alarm of the evening. There usually it's very rare to have two in such close proximity, and it was very calm here. Although we did have in Mykolaiv, which is near the newly occupied territories in the southeast of the country, there were explosions. In the city of Dnipro, which is a major city on the Dnipro River in southern Ukraine, the center of the city was hit, according to the mayor. They hit a railway target, and there were explosions in Odessa. But obviously yesterday in Lviv, we were hit for the first time in a few weeks. I was in a cafe at the time with some foreign soldiers and some Ukrainians, and the lights flickered, and everyone got quiet, and then we heard that awful sound repeated, I think 5 times. And I stepped outside a few minutes later to see the smoke over the city. So that reality has hit home now again in Lviv. That this obviously is also a target.
Hey, Joe, I think the Russian Federation, Putin on down, thought that they could just grind the Ukraine over time and just wear you down. Obviously, that has not happened. The question I have is, has there been sufficient, not only a renewal of arms coming in from the EU, from the United States, from all 30 NATO countries, but has there been sufficient food and gasoline to keep the wheels on the bus, to keep things going? In other words, do you have the equipment you need to continue as long as this takes to push the invaders out?
Well, I would say it's a great question, because we're working every day to work to, and we see this happening here in Lviv, to stabilize and improve those operations through our team as well. Every day we work to make sure, small, units of 20 guys going to fight have the vest and the proper medical kits they need. That still is a bit of a struggle, but we're starting to see some openings there. That we're getting the right supplies, and for example, with the medical kits, we've got some horrible kits from China with tourniquets that don't work; they're useless, and so we're fixing that system. We got an emergency order, a request today for food to get to Kharkiv, for non-perishable food and MREs to get to Kharkiv, which is a city that's been suffering immensely. So we can find it, but it's always a scramble, and that's why yesterday's attack was disturbing. Because Lviv is the supply, logistics hub, and unfortunately, fortunately, the air defense has protected Lviv so far, but the Russians continue to try to strike it, and this is, it does seem that's part of the strategy. Russia tried to take Ukraine in a blitzkrieg, and that failed, and now they want to make it a slow grind, perhaps even sometimes slowing down enough. For example, in America, it seems that I took a little dip into the American media today, just curious what was going on, and I was shocked that the Johnny Depp Amber trial is dominating the news, and I think that these things make Russia very happy because they can continue to pound. And strangely, today a Russian senior official said that now they're looking at the denazification of Sweden, and so this could be going in directions we don't even imagine, and that's a very difficult thing about the situation.
Wow. See, it was never just Ukraine. The world needs to be listening. And Joe, please know that we have never forgotten about you, nor will we. We're not just covering Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. We are interested in your plight and the plight of the Ukrainian people. That's why we keep checking in with you. It's my understanding, you mentioned now Sweden becoming possibly an issue, that Putin said he was going to declare war in the coming days. Would that be any different? How would that change? What does that mean for the people of Ukraine?
I mean, obviously, hopefully that sounds ridiculous to any sane person that hears it, because this has been a war, even though sometimes we see it called a conflict in some media. But Putin from the start has told the Russian people, and he controls a lot of the information they receive, that this is merely a special operation. If he were to declare war, it seems that he could actually like truly mobilize the entire nation, the way that Ukraine has been sort of self-mobilized in self-defense. The Russians could be forcibly mobilized, and he could draw upon, the entire whatever resources they have in the society. So, but again, anytime we hear any rhetoric, anything come from the Kremlin, I don't trust it one way or the other. I mean, so he said they're not going to declare war. I put no stock in anything they say, and I think it's meant to take us off our focus and off our course. But there is concern about this May 9th holiday. And it's very interesting. Boris Johnson said, I think he was trying to calm the situation, and he said, Putin, you can save face. You can just tell your people that you won and go home because they believe your lies. But I think it was hard to hear that from the UK PM because it sounded almost too desperate. But it's look at everything Russia said in the months leading up to the war, and we can see that none of that could be believed. And maybe we do have to actually believe the opposite of what they say.
Joe, I'm seeing reports of a Russian brain drain. 50 to 70,000 skilled tech workers have already fled Russia, apparently in opposition to the war. I mean, they can't speak out. There is no freedom of speech right now in Russia. There is no freedom of the press. There is only what the state wants you to know. So the only way they can protest is by leaving. There's some reports as many as 300,000 Russians have left since the beginning of the war, ostensibly in protest. Some may fear what might happen within Russia. But I'm just curious if you're seeing those effects, and is life still somewhat normal in Lviv? Are people going to work? Are kids going to school? Are people shopping? I mean, how much normalcy is there today in Lviv where you are?
I mean, even today, the day after the strike, I mean, I went for a run today, and I had a different feeling in my mind. I was thinking, okay, when I hear that alarm, where am I going to run to? That was the only difference in my mind. But as I was walking through the city today, there were kids walking the streets, unattended, which was normal before the war. Most of the schooling is online, and everything is sort of overwhelmed with the refugees here. So most people are going to online school. A lot of the Lviv children, their parents at the very beginning got them to Germany and Norway and other countries, but we have lots of refugee children here. But on Sunday, it was a beautiful sunny day. There was music everywhere in the streets. It was very incongruous. And a lot of us were talking, saying, we feel something bad is coming. And sure enough, there was a strike the next day. But no one was killed in that strike. And I was talking with a friend today he's a Ukrainian who spent a year in a Russian prison. So he's seen that heart of darkness. And he said he's encouraged by the fact that even a day after the strike, people were walking around the city and sitting at the outdoor cafes, because it's a sign that their spirit is not broken and they're not afraid. And you never see anyone running to a shelter, even when the alarms go off. And maybe that's the type of mettle that you'll need for the long endurance of however long this might go on.
Jor, I just want to mention, when this is over, and Joe, it will be over at some point, and Ukraine will prevail, we are going to come over and buy a series of beers for you at your favorite cafe to help you celebrate. We'll bring our spouses, we'll videotape it and record it for posterity. But
I greatly look forward to that day. And in Ukrainian, you would say "za peremoha," which means to victory. And yes, we will all be celebrating here, and it will be a glorious day. Today was the sun was shining. Sometimes when the sun is shining, the city feels a little bit like Paris. And it's a beautiful place and with an amazing culture. Sooner than we can imagine, I hope. And it's and then in a sense we're all. I was realizing this when I was running a few days ago in the park. Sometimes, having lived in New York, I get frustrated with the people around me, and then if people are in my way or something, and running through the park, I realized every single person that I saw in that park is people were walking quietly, is going through has the same fears, the same uncertainty. And we really get the sense of empathy that we're all in it together. But then if you expand this a bit further, I mean, the whole world is in this together. We don't know where this is going, and we share this sort of common fear and uncertainty. And hopefully that helps us all be better people at the very least in these moments. But
yeah, you're
well, Joe, we wish nothing more than a sense of normalcy for you. Your post this weekend of people in the streets with music. I encourage everybody to follow Joe on Instagram. That's where I follow him, JP Lindsley. And I know you got a haircut, so there's a little piece of normalcy for your life. But where can people help? You mentioned the new website. Is that still the place to go for people to donate and help?
Yeah, if you go to UkrainianFreedomNews.com, and there's so many organizations, great organizations working to help, and we're trying to piece that together and see who will be the most effective. Right now, we're posting every day small batch requests. So if people really want to feel connected and say, "Hey, I bought a pair of tactical boots," and we'll send you the picture of when. In fact, we have a shipment coming from Germany. Hopefully tomorrow. Things got a bit delayed recently, but we want people to feel really connected to the Ukraine that they're supporting, because I think that will help. Keep this going for the long duration. But the human connection is very important here. And Ukrainians, like we had some people on our team delivering items through the country, and at every checkpoint, soldiers would say, "Hey, can we buy some of this stuff? We need this stuff." And so there's a great need, but there's a great gratitude here. And as some friends were saying to me the other day, I think this is a common idea here. Ukrainians believe they are fighting the war that the world doesn't want to fight, and the world won't fight right now. And but it's a war that is somehow affecting everyone. And so all that support is appreciated. So yeah, UkrainianFreedomNews.com. We welcome any support, and thank you.
Absolutely. Joe Lindsley, keep it up, keep pushing, stay safe. Thank you for the update. God bless.
Yeah, and Paul, thank you, Jordana. Your fortitude inspires me as well. So thank you, and see you all soon.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I tell Joe that we are both fighting our own battles, obviously his on a global scale, but he's been so kind and so supportive. He and his family, his mother emails me about my leukemia. I feel like that's so back burner. They're fighting a real war, but I'm fighting my own personal one, and they've been amazing. So I feel so humbled.
Yeah. He's great.
When we get back, MPD, good news about the Minneapolis Police Department. These police officers are doing some great work in the community, and we wanted to highlight that. Hear what they're doing with kids and bikes next.